Okay, we start by looking your projects. This is your studio project, and if we look closely, there is one big rock crop in middle of your building site, and on the back is some sort of garden, um, and you're creating a stair system around this rock crop, and but I'm not going to talk about how to do this because I don't want to. Somehow my direction was given is I don't want to kill your creativity. So here that you have to figure out a way to have this very interesting circulations. Either boolean out or you subtract out the rock, or you add some sort of platform because your stair system somehow had to be integrated with your structures. So here I'm not going to talk about your structures. Here I'm not going to talk about your design studio. I'm going to focus on stair system in Revit. So here we getting back to Revit, and I have if you start with a project, so we're looking at something a little different. Okay, so yes, we're not going to do a rock. So because if I do something along your rock, somehow you use whatever that I doing here, and that will be misleading because uh, um, we are not supposed to talk about your design. Okay, we are going to go to about Revit steel system. That's the very important thing that we need to do here. So we're going to, I'm using Autodesk Revit 2019. So I'm going to go through the whole thing, whole 9 yard in terms of, but you can bear with me if you want to do this workshop together with me. We are using this something a little different. It doesn't look at all like your rock. Okay. Yeah, but they are very similar. I tell you this is probably dimension wise is a box, but I subtract things out so make them more interesting. So you somehow have to understand this. If you build your steel system along this rock, but this is not a rock, of course, you're looking at it as a very like a cube and subtract in different areas, but our purpose here is about Revit, how we use Revit to build staircase system. And we can use this information, we can build a staircase and we can import the staircase back to your rhinoceros. So they can be working together. So this is a very important thing we're going to do in this workshop is we're not going to touch anything. We're just going to go to Revit staircase system, creating stair. Okay. Because Revit has this capability to create a very accurate stair. So we're going to go through it and talk about it. So I heavily encourage you to read about in detail about the staircase system in how to create a stair system in Revit. Okay, I have a separate page I'm going to show you now. So there's another page and in your website, so you can click to read more, understand all Revit staircase definitions, and we all about all great detail, and you ought really to know these. And they go everything's and go all the way talk about different landings, different structures of your stair. They are very helpful because you're not creating something that is not buildable. So anything you built in Revit, they are really down to specifications, and everything is really, you build this, you can build this very quickly, and you can also able to create in 3D. I mean, that's a wonder of this. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that in this workshop, but you're very welcome. I'm not going to go through all these details. We're going to show you very quickly. If you are interested of it, please go to the separate page, and then there's a link you can go to, and you can go to this link right here. Click here if you want to read more about how to properly build your stair in Revit. Okay, going back to Revit, and you look at my my model, and it's roughly about 3-story high in this box, this building. Okay, and it's about 20 feet wide and 45 feet long. Similar to, but not identical to your rock. But you have to use your imagination here. So we have to somehow land in. Our assignment here in this workshop is build a very elaborate working staircase system leading from the first level A and jumping to B, and we have two level right here, two level C, D, E, F, G. There are 7 levels, so we need to build a staircase system. And wrapping around this different platform, there's 2 exits. Okay, you can either lead in that, you can either lead in this, and then you can lead in this level A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, well, there are actually 7 levels. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, here we look at these images here. So you have 2 exit. We have 2 locations we can go, and you can either enter from one side and go jumping from A, B, C to D level, E, F, G, and then coming back, able to go back and coming down. So you must have 2 entrances, 2 staircases, either exit or enter. All right. So this is going to be our assignment and for this workshop. And I think you go through this doesn't mean that you will know how to build a stair system wrap around your rock, but I think you have a very clear understanding after this exercise. I think you can envision how you're going to build anything that complex and probably gain a little confidence in Revit. But the important thing is we're going to take this information and we're going to move to Rhinoceros. Okay, so this is what we're going to do for this workshop. Okay, here this is the look at after we go through this workshop, we are able to build a stair system, 2 stair system going from 2 directions, either exit or entrance, and then we're moving from level A to B, from B and split the staircase to 2 level, and then moving from one to the other and going up, going back, going down, so every direction is able to move. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I mean, you look closely, the staircase actually split into 2 on the 2nd level. So because they are 2 levels that we need to reach, so we're able to do that in this workshop. And then we're going to, after we finish this, we're going to export this information in a DWG format and bring this back to Rhinoceros. And the last step of this workshop, we will bring this 3-dimensional model back to Rhinoceros. And then, of course, you can do rendering in Rhinoceros. You can also do analysis. You can do other kind of things. So I'm going to talk how to import this information from Revit back to Rhinoceros, and we will complete this workshop. Okay, the first thing we need to do in to create a stair in Revit is we have to create levels. It's a misconception that if you create a floor plan, first thing you do is a floor or roof. No, that's not true. As a matter of fact, it got nothing to do with the floor. Floor is components in Revit, and so is roof, so is the stair. So they're really not really, they relate to each other, but somehow they are not tied up together. But the very important thing is level. You can see a floor plan is level 1, level 2, and this is a leveling concept. It's very important in Revit. If you look at a game, as a matter of fact, level is very important in game. There's no floor plan, but they are level. So the first thing in Revit, you have to create level. So by default, it gives you level 1, level 2. You see this, you look at the property browser, and then you will look at the views. Those are the views generate automatically inside Revit. So you're looking over the elevation, and you click east, and they are automatically defaulted. There are 2 levels being created, so you have to create a level. So you can see you can move the level very easily, and they will automatically connected. So I'm not saying you should, because in this case, um, the level somehow created on the it will detect by automatically that the second level, whatever that height. You can keep creating 3 or 4. There are 7 level here, so you need to somehow go over to create a 7 level. But important thing is that the level, the elevation, really doesn't have to be higher in each level. You can actually go down. You can go all the way to below 0. So they have all kind of level, but you set it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 automatically is by alphabetically order. You can or you A, B, C, D alphabetically or numerically. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can have a description as a ground floor. It can be a sub-zero floor. It can be any floor. You just name it, and then it will create in the floor plan. All right, but sequentially, they should have some sort of sequence. Okay, so in order to create a level, it's very, very easy, very simple. You move into architectural structures, whatever that you choose in architecture, I will use, and you see level. The important thing here is the head is always the important thing. The important thing is always the last. The non-important thing is always first. So you get to this part, and you can track it. Make sure you track it, and then you can somehow. You don't have to be exact, really, seriously, because you can move very easily. You can move this level to any level as you wish, and they somehow very smart. Revit is a very smart program, so you will automatically detect. So we're going to go on create 7 levels, and each level will be on top of each other's, and then going back. So there will be 7 levels. Okay, we quickly create a 7 level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and each level is on top of each others, and so there will be a clear instruction. So now let's flip to this 3Ds, this house. This 3D house is default 3D view. And we're going to flip this width together with the shift and my middle square mouse. So I'm rotating this. So you can see the plane interceptions. They were slicing this object that I created. Okay, and then we're going to start creating stair. We can do things from the 3D view, but you can see, as a matter of fact, the 7th level is being created. So you go on to level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. They are basically a projection, horizontal slicing plane that slices through any object that intercept with this plane. So next we're going to create 2 stair system that exit or enter exit, I mean both directions. We're going to create 2 stair systems that leading to this object. Okay, let's start our first stair system. So we're going to go to architectures. On the architecture there is a stair. Once you click the stair icons, and you are enter into the stair generators. Now you look over this. Very important thing is this is a part of your visual tab, and you were looking at the very important thing is that you can cancel the operation. You can also finish your stair generation. So here you can, the first thing you click is run, and you have a several type of stair. First is the straight stair, and we're probably going to use this one. Okay, and then you can also create a 4-step spiral stair, and you can also have a center end spiral stair, a curved stair, and then you have this kind of L-shape called a window stair, or you can have this U shapes of window stair. Okay, so there's quite a many, and the last one is a sketch stair, which I'm going to talk about very near the end. Okay, so we're going to do with a straight stair in this case. So very simple. Or we're going to don't worry too much about how many that you want. You're going to go all the way without landing. You just go stretch all the way. See, this is without landing. This is the easiest step. Don't worry about it. You will calculate it between different level. You will automatically the stair threads everything for you. Okay, that's the wonder of using Revit. That's the reason why you don't want to model this and do a calculator. This will automatically do it for you. Okay, now you look closely. this you haven't checked this yes or no yet, but however, this is the edit type, so you can go ahead. Want you to click this edit type. You're looking over this is that it gives you a riser height by 7 inches. You can change that number. Also, your thread depth is 11 inches. You can change that information. Now, very important thing is the width. If this is the time that if you by default is your 3 feet width for your stair. If you want to make this larger, longer, which is currently 3 feet, you can change this to 5 feet. Now, there's also a rule called the calculation rule. And this rule, of course, is not checked yet. You can certainly check. This gives you a very simple rule between how many riser plus 1, the depth equals to this kind of formula. Somehow change the slope of your stair. So you can certainly choose to do that. But here I say, listen, do not bother at this point. You do need to have a general stair. And Revit is very good for you. If you it doesn't really understand the calculations of the stair at this point, don't bother, because they are different type of code, specify different types of calculation rule. Nothing to worry at this point. You have your level set up. Just use the default one. So we're going to cancel that. And there are other things like strangers. There are all kind of things that related. You want to. And also the marking, the mark will be automatically, generated when you go up leading to the second level, and it will have a symbol that breaking half of the stair when you're leading up to. So nothing really worth at this time. If you want to know more about it, just go read my extra pages about the stair generation guideline, the detail. Okay. Now we're going to we change the width now, so it's become like a 5 feet wide. Okay, after you finish this, again, you can do it right at this point, or you can finish after that. So we're going to finish right at this point. Now, we're going to flip this in the 3D. So you see that stair somehow leading nowhere. Do not worry too much at this point. We're going to go back to level 1. So always going back to the level is easier, because you don't have to deal with the 3 dimension. You always deal with one plane. It's quite easier. So it's more accurate. Your object will not snap to somewhere that you don't intend to, snap to. We're gonna hit the middle of the stair, and we're gonna somehow align the stair. Somehow you can snap this too. You can somehow in any location that you want to. Now, next thing we do, select the stair, and we're gonna use the line tool, which is a very powerful tool, and we're gonna snap this edges to edges. And then we're going to look for 3D. Now your stair has been generated. I want to make sure that you select the stair so you can shift together with your middle square mouse. Somehow your stairs being created. Now we're going back to level 1 again, because we're going to do a different type of staircase, a stair system, like a U stair with a landing. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create a stair, straight stair with a landing. So go back to architect, choose tab, and we're going to choose stair. Now we're going to do a property set right here. So we're going to go here I'm going to go back to 3 feet, because it's a little skinnier, so easier to see. So I'm going to go back to default 3 feet, and we're going to do one straight from here. So we have one. How many? You also see that there is a temperate dimensions 5 feet 6, 5 feet 7. You can key in 6 feet, for example. So the round will be 6 feet. And then with right next to it, we also can key in the dimension. This is from the center of your stair to the next set. So and it will give you overall dimension. That overall dimension can be controlled. So you have 3 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, and if you put 6 feet, that will give you 0 in between. If you give 7 feet, for instance, it will give you a foot in between. So I'm going to put 7 feet in this case. See, I'm doing this one more time. So you want to go straight. All right, here 7 feet. You can do that. So here kind of problem, because landing become like nothing. So you don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead, redo this one more time. we're gonna go 5 feet, and then we're gonna jump over somehow a little longer, and we can, I'm just do a crazy stair in this case, crazy staircase like that. Okay, that's one way to do this. Now let's take a look at the stair that we generated. I'm gonna go 3D again. You see the symbol going up and then break away. I mean, very accurate depleted how your staircase need to be represented. Let's take a look at the 3D. And this is the staircase that we generate. Wow. Now imagine if you want to do a staircase in rhinoceros, how long would this take you? You did this like less than a minute, okay? And of course everything else here can be changed, can be evaporated. You can even further edit the stair. Okay, now we're going to go back again to level 1. We're going to delete it. Just practice. I'm going to do another one. And this time we're going to do a split staircase. Okay, we're going to do a U stair in this case. Okay, so we're going to go thread. We're going to go and we're going to go about make sure that we have 6 threads. I think this is a little too much. We're going to restart it, and we're going to go make, and then we're going to go around, and we're going to change to 7 and straight. Don't really have to worry too much of it, because after you finish it, you can still change the stair, somehow move around the staircase if you want to. We can modify all the parameters if you wish to later, but we're going to finish this because this seems to be perfect. 3 going up and go through the landing, another 3 going up, so we split this in 3, and this will be a perfect U stair with 2 feet in between. Okay, with 2 feet in between. Okay, we'll flip back to level 1, and we're going to delete it, the stair we just created. Alright, enough practice. Now we're going to go another one, like going to the side of the stairs. I'm going to go directly again, go all the way around, and then we're going to align the edges to the edges. Right, now let's take OK. We're looking at 3D. 2 staircase being generated. All right. Okay, next thing we need to create is 2 staircase first, and we're going to solve the most difficult one that going to lead into level 4 and level 3. So we're going to create 2 stair system that leading to from level 4 to level 5. So we're going to go level 4. And we'll create a stair, and we're going to just go straight in this case, and we're going to select the stair, and we're going to align the stair from one to the other. And we're going to modify this, so move this a little bit in the middle, and then we're going to flip again, and we're going to say yes. Now we're going to go 3D again, take a look. Our stairs have been perfectly generated. Flip back to level 4. Create another stair leading from, and we're going to assign that and align to the edges. Oops. Do this one more time. Okay. 3D. 2 stairs being generated. Now we're going to do level 5. We're going to create another stair. 3D. Now level 6. Align. .3D. So our basics here have been generated. One of the most difficult one is the middle one. They're going to be splitting into 2 levels. All right. So we're going to go ahead, move into that level, level 2. And we're going to be a little skillful here. So we're going to create a 2-headed monster. Somehow split in there. Okay. Okay, we're going to click Stair. And we're going to generate roughly from here. And we're going to go roughly about 5 threads. 5-6 threads. And we're going to jump around, give it 5 feet. Turn around all the way. Now if we want to reach this to the end, we can also do this by aligning that to that. And now so it's stretched our 3 remaining threads to the edges of the our landing. Now take a look 3D. Oh, pretty good. Now flip back to level 2. We're going to create now the next one that actually reaching to the end. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to create this split staircase. So here is the tricky part. We're going to select the stair. We're going to edit stairs. Okay, now next thing we need to do is we need to run continuously somehow from, give it a little more space, then go all the way. Well, now maybe more. So we're gonna go continuously, go all the way. And very important thing here is we need to select the landing, because we're gonna change the landing here. So we're gonna make this the relative base to be 4 feet and 1 inches. Why? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threads, about rise of 7 inches, so totally about 49 inches. So the next set of stairs go all the way up. It's around 3 feet and 9, something like that. If you put 4 feet and 1 inches, it will run out for automatically, taking out the top and the bottom. We'll create this, maybe we don't want this relatively top to be more exceeding throughout, because we want to reach to the 4th level. So and we need to move this up a little more, okay, because we're going to offset this later. Now select the landing. We're going to convert this to sketch base. So we're going to sketch our own landing. It has a warning, okay, converting an automatic landing or a run component to custom sketch based components in reversible. You cannot go back anymore. Fine. Now we need to edit sketch. So here we're going to do is we're going to do a little sketching here, and we're going to push this all the way till the end. Oh, see, a little problem here, so it's okay. We're going to go back. So it's okay. We're going to go back, and we're going to move this. It's okay. We're going to correct. So this somehow move all the way up. Okay, we're going to undo this back to we originally. So be very, very careful. Make sure this is straight. And then we need to move this close to the edges, so we literally just moving this all the way to the edges of our next landing. So and then we're gonna go to sketch our landing. So if you go flip into a 3D, you should tell that it's actually okay. You know, everything, the height and the landings all perfect. So we're gonna go back to level 2. The next step is changing this landing. We're gonna convert this to customer sketch landing. Okay, and we're gonna push this all the way up. We're gonna push this in. Here has a little problem. So we need to do is we need to split the boundaries inside the boundary. Be very careful. There's a lot of snapping there, and we're gonna trim it. We're gonna trim the inside of we're gonna trim these out. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna keep that, and we're gonna trim this one. We're gonna keep that inside. So then give us a T shapes to connect these two stair system, and the one leading to the other level. So let's go 3D. Well, there you have. Go back to our top level. And we're gonna do a little variation in this case. We're gonna somehow trace the angle a little bit so they don't look only go one direction, so make this more interesting. Okay, let's select the stair. Edit stair, and we're gonna rotate the stair a little bit to create an interesting angle. And I'm gonna move this away a little bit, and then we're gonna convert the staircase to a customer sketch base, and then we're gonna edit sketch. Here we're gonna switch this all the way till the edges. Make sure it lines up. It's very important that the dashes line it up, so because we don't want to trim them later. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend the edges to the two edges that we have. We'll do that one more time because it lost the there you go. All right, now we need to the stair path, we need to somehow stretch the stair path. Somehow we want to stretch this all the way, okay, to the middle. And then all right, then we go, okay, let it calculate it and take a few minutes, and let's take a look at the stair. Now it's twisted. We can do the same thing to all other stairs, and we're going to go back to other level. If you see that level 4, for example, if you want something more dynamic, you can do the same thing. We repeat one more times on this, and we're going to edit stair. We're going to rotate this a little bit, make this more interesting, more dynamic, and we're going to move this away. Not too much away, but because we don't want this to be too complicated. So all right, now let's convert the sketch customer sketch base. Edit the sketch, flip this to the side, flip that. Be very careful though. Okay, now extend it. I'll vary this a little bit. So to the 3D. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, now we're going back to our that grand staircase on second level. So we're gonna go second level. Here we're gonna do something very interesting. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to the landing area. We're gonna change the profile landing a little bit more. And we're going to delete that. We're going to create a curve using an arc with two endings. And we'll create something very interesting. And now take a look at the 3D. Wow. And what I'm doing, we're going to go back again on level 2. Make this even more. Edit stair. Convert to customer base, sketch base. And what we're going to do here is we want to change the riser. So we want to make the riser do a little bit different thing. So we're going to go another piece there. And then we're going to extend that to, so now we're going to go back to 3D. Wow. Landing, thread, alt, change. The last step is changing the railing system. You can download this landing style, a railing style from manufacturers. I won't bother you too much, but I just show you there are a few style has been loaded with your Revit default loading. So you can't have too many of those. You can certainly look for it, but you can also go online and there are many railing types you can load it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead change this to different railing. We're gonna really manually do that very quickly. And now how we export the entire drawing to Rhinoceros. Very easy. We go File, and we're going to export to CAD format DWG. Now, a very important thing is I don't want to really bug you too much information here. We're just going to click Next. And very important thing is we're going to choose older version. Your Rhinoceros, if you don't use the newest Rhinoceros, you might have a problem taking a new version. So it's always a good idea to use older version of 2010 because you might have a new technology cause your input unsuccessful. So that's all you have to do. I'm just going to go do a test, keying test. I've already done this quite a few times already. So I'm going to choose test. And when you finish, it's very important. Well, we're going to open up Rhinoceros. And we're going to import this file. Okay, we're going to just go import it. Select the file that I just created. Alright, you don't really do anything else and just say okay. And we're going to maximize this. Now, amazing thing is everything now with the IA layers names all being created for you automatically without any hesitation. We're going to change that to shader view. Now look closely, and everything being imported. You can turn things off like handrail. The handrail will be turning off, and you want to take the level out. The level, you can take the level layers out. Okay, now question will be, last question will be is your railing. Okay, your hand railing. Interesting enough, they are all pieces together as a block reference. You can just explode it. It's no big deal. So if you want to make a different material, assign different material to the whole railing system, you explode it. Okay, and then of course they will become pieces. All right, so that's the last question in terms of you. They input as a block, you can explode it, and you can make them an individual piece for rendering. Well, that's it. I mean, you can see so easy to create a stair in using Revit, and it's still helpful even you use rhinoceros. Okay, and I know many of you use rhinoceros and you have good skill in rhinoceros, but does not rule out using Revit. Okay, Revit is still a viable alternative to create many things, gonna be very helpful for you to use. Certainly you can use Revit, but of course Revit is a very complex programs, and perhaps 3 workshop is not sufficient to describe what it can do. But however, I wanted to mention a little bit so you can still use Revit and use that piece, just the stair. If you don't want to create a level, if the level is somehow complex to you, you still can use it. You can create only 2 level and create a stair and import it to Revit a couple times. Just using the stair itself, it doesn't have to talk about anything else. You don't have to use the floor, you don't have to use other components in Revit. Just the stair alone, it will save you a lot of times. Thank you for watching.